this meeting, Town of Waterford budget meeting to order. Open for December 8th, meeting probably public hearing on the 2026 proposed budget. We'll have a special town meeting on the elected call pursuant to section 16.12 1C Wisconsin statutes by the town board. The meeting will be held here to adopt the 2025 tax levy to be paid 2026 pursuant to section 60.1 Wisconsin statutes.
Can you speak up to the bit?
I have a
Yeah, no, I didn't hear you. Yes, no, I can, thank you.
To adopt the 2025 tax levy to be paid in 2026 pursuant to section 60.1 Wisconsin statutes. In the board, we have the budget all balanced and everything. We need to make a motion to approve it.
I'll move to approve the budget as presented.
Can a motion to approve?
Point of order.
Sure.
This first meeting is to approve the levy.
Oh, tax levy, you are correct, yes. Yeah, tax levy. So,
All right, withdraw that one. I'll move to approve the tax levy as presented. 2026.
can a motion to approve the tax levy? Looking for a second.
Second the motion.
A motion and a second. Call for discussion. Take a vote, we'll make a vote.
I have some discussion. This is an opportunity for the town residents. This is part of your meeting so that you can speak up and let your voices be heard. This is the town residents, the electors of the town's opportunity to approve or disapprove of the levy in order to pay the budget for next year. I personally don't believe that this budget is responsible. I think that there are cost savings that could be had. I think that we are overpaying for public safety. I've asked questions as to some of those costs. I have not gotten answers. And I think that this is an opportunity to hear from our residents who have been silenced during regular town board meetings to hear from them and how they think that their tax dollars should be spent.
Pardon me?
I
Yes.
have a question.
You can come up and just state your name and address, please.
Okay. My name is Dan Egan, 32610 Sunburst Court. Question that I had to anyone on board would be looking at the public safety. Not quite sure what all that is because the police is separate from that. I'd like to know what happened in a year or two have an increase of $300,000+.
So that was one of the questions that I asked and haven't gotten an answer. Over the last 2 years, Michigan Fire Company has put in increases to the tune of 106%. Now that's been reduced slightly, but I have that same question of why has that gone up so substantially? And I haven't gotten an answer either. Perhaps somebody else has one for you.
Where would that answer come from if not from the board?
Well, the fire company would provide that, and they requested it a certain dollar amount, and we didn't give them the full dollar amount, we reduced it, what was approved on last year's budget. And we raised it $16,000. That's what they got up, so they didn't go up. Supervisor, he's correct, it has went up in the last 2 years, but we did not go up that much this year.
What are the numbers, 16 and 19 then? That looks like a $300,000.
We also reinstated the police department, where we put back in, we reduced an officer, but we put back the 2 people that were budgeted for.
But wouldn't that then come under something different?
No, public safety is police and fire. That includes water patrol too, it includes, I mean, that's all in there.
There's the police.
What is the fire protection assessment? I see the
Can you-
numbers gone from.
I'm gonna do one at a time, if that's okay, because, yeah, we'll have one person one at a time, please, so we can hear everybody.
I had seen something before, and forgive me, I can't find it right now unless it's not on here. I was looking for, oh, here it is. Police contract. It's actually gone down.
We build the actual amount to the village. So it'll probably level back, if they have a budget of 385, instead of staffing that with part-timers that we have been back, we are working with the chief to go back to full-time officer staffing the village.
Well, I don't wanna necessarily raise the dead, but a little over a year ago, when we had the big hoopla about whether keeping our own police department or contracting out, there was a major difference in terms of the dollars. Is any of that? And I know the decision was, and I stand by that, to retain our own police department. Is any of that situation reflected in here?
No, because we look at the total thing at 4.12%, and went up for over year to year on all items.
It is reflected in there. It is reflected as part of the cost of public safety. We're not seeing the savings had we contracted, so that is included in the cost of public
Okay,
safety.
so the increase as opposed to seeing it in the village police contract is actually in the public safety.
So the village police contract, if you're looking at the sheet at the top, you see the revenue from the village police contract, and then below you'll see the expense for the village police contract. It's a dollar for dollar direct pass through. So that actually has no net impact on the town's budget.
Okay,
Does
that's
that,
my question.
does that answer? Thank you. Sure, come on, state your name and address, please.
Sure. My name is Brian Meyer, 28535 Beach Drive. I see on here that this Michigan Fire Company is a private agency, yet the costs double in 2 years to a private firm.
Yeah, that's what they requested last year, when we did the budget, they went up quite a bit, Supervisor, you understated,
But they are a private firm.
contract with the town, yes.
And then if we can get such a substantial savings by hiring a Racine County Sheriff, why don't we look at that instead of raising our levy?
Because we're not gonna get a contract, that's not what the public wanted. The public wanted to maintain our own police department, and that's why we kept our own police department.
I keep hearing that, but have still not seen any evidence of that, but again, we keep throwing that out there.
Thank you.
So to clear up the questions that I asked after the November board meeting, we were informed that we could submit questions to the chair to ask Michigan Fire, because unlike all of the other departments, I understand there's a separate company, they're not one of our town departments. We were able to speak to those department heads and get their direct input. We didn't have that opportunity with Michigan Fire. So we were afforded the opportunity to forward questions. The questions that I asked and did not get answered were, how do you justify a 106% increase over 2 years? What has caused such a massive increase? In the past, the reasons for not sharing the financials is that they get less than 50% of their funding from the town. Is that still the case after these large increases? What are the other funding sources? And really what I'm driving at is, what is the total cost to provide the fire and EMS to the town? Because I think that's something important for this board and for the residents to know. And I don't have the answers to those questions, but I think they're important ones that we get.
So we would approve a levy without having those answers? That's 200 grand.
Well, we have to balance the budget, and that's what they requested. They only went up 16, they didn't go up 200 grand. They went up 16,000 from the last year they were budgeted. This happened last year, they got the big increase, not this year.
This year it appears only it's $136,000.
We decided to raise the special assessment to balance the budget. That went up $50, the same it did previous year.
So another
Yes, and
tax
that's
increase.
for their cost, yes. And then their only budget went up $16,000, so they're not getting, that goes to the reserve after their expenses are paid.
Thank you.
Since TFC is not here, I will request, them to be at the next meeting and clarify that, but we do need to move forward here.
The question being last year when we
Yeah,
raised
just
what
stuff
they
like that.
received.
Name and
we
address,
was- Oh, I'm sorry, Terry, 28728 Cardinal Court. We were supposed to receive, number one, we were supposed to be able to see their books, which I don't know if that's ever happened yet. Number two, there was a question about names on titles and names added to titles, because in reality, some of that equipment belongs to the people of the town of Waterford. Does not belong to Michigan Fire. That's something that's been a contentious issue for quite some time, and I don't see it proper to continue to give more and more when the names are not on titles. We've talked about even just adding our name, so it's not just ours. We were told that because of insurance, they couldn't do that, which is bogus. We have our name on our daughter's car just as well, because she's on our insurance. We know how to do that. Has that been done? Why hasn't it been done? That's something that we've talked about. Supervisor Schwartz was with me when we talked to the fire department last year. That was supposed to be done. Has that been done, and why has it not been done? That equipment belongs to the people of the town of Waterford. And we want to talk about accountability. Let's talk about accountability.
Yeah, I agree. It does belong to us. Same thing with the building and eventually the land and all that stuff. But this goes back a lot of years and needs to be done. It wasn't done previously. It is in the process right now. Changes, I'm working with different things, not just for the town of Waterford, but with the village to cover EMS and better. If anybody watched Spectrum News today, they had it on multiple times, what's going on in Lake Geneva and the town of Lyons. And I mean, they're working together to come up with a program. Same thing that I think that we should be looking at out here right now. But it's gonna take some time. It's not gonna happen overnight. I mean, also the equipment, we have not purchased any new since the ambulance 3-4 years ago. Things do depreciate. So some of the older stuff may not be worth having our name on the title. But yes, I agree. We have to get that done, and that is in the works.
One additional comment, one item that is not captured in the overview summary sheet is that there's also an individual line item that's going to pay a stipend to the committees that have thus far continued to accrue open meetings concerns. Even after attending the open meetings class that the town spent $3,000 of your taxpayer money on, after some board members violated that law earlier this year. I think it's important that everybody know what is intended, that there is approximately $8,000 being set aside to fund stipends for those unelected committees.
Sure, step forward, please. State your name and address.
Julie Meyer, 28535 Beach Drive, and that was kind of what I was getting at, because I remember some of the board members had gotten tickets, and somehow they didn't have to pay for it, and now all of a sudden, the taxpayers are paying this $3,000 deductible for things that a couple of the board members here, and one's not here, did, and I don't understand why that has to be my responsibility. Why isn't it your responsibility, Tim, and your responsibility, and Doug? The three that had the ticket, I don't know why it's our responsibility. So that was one of the questions that I had, because I was at the planning meeting and I don't understand why that's there. And it just doesn't make sense. So explain, why
It's
have
the
to
same
do
reason
that?
the taxpayers had to pay all the investigations for Supervisor Ulander and the past chair.
It's not what I'm talking about.
It is, that's what we have insurance for.
Yeah, but
Those are different situations.
that's different.
No, it didn't, it was done the way it was, per the advice of insurance, and that's how we perceive it.
And
It was
then,
voted on by the board.
Not the same thing.
and it isn't the same thing, and then paying these people to do your job doesn't make sense. We're already paying you to do your job. Why am I paying somebody that you got to volunteer on a committee? Why are we paying them to be at meeting? Does not make any sense.
It's
Can I just jump in on that one real quickly? Because I'm the rookie here, and I'll just share a couple thoughts on that. I support the committee structure and an active, working, vibrant committee structure to address the very, very, very long list of things that need to be done to get this town on substantially sound footing. 5 people up here, some of who have full-time jobs, are never gonna get that work done. Absolutely no way in a lifetime gonna get all that needs to be done. So we have to put something in place, volunteers or otherwise, of talented people that can help bring our arms and legs and minds to the problem space to start addressing the long list of things that need to be addressed within this town. So I support the committee structure. It is not, in my opinion, a reasonable assumption to assume that the board, 5 people in and of themselves, by themselves, are gonna address all the things that need to be done, because the backlog of work is substantial.
But again, you're getting paid to do that. I don't understand why we have to have committees
Make sure you can do
to
it.
get paid. That, it just doesn't make sense. It was a volunteer thing, where now all of a sudden it's a paid thing. Well, then maybe you should re-put it out there so other people could get on there, but, well, the way they're picked, it doesn't really matter because it's not a fair system anyway.
The job.
I'm gonna answer on this one too. Michelle Boris Stockton, 7519 North Tishkin Road. I'm also gonna comment on these committees, but I applied for one of the committees, the way you told us to, Tim. Letter of intent, the whole 9 yards. Some of these people you handpicked, they didn't even apply for these committees. But now they're getting, Dave Wortman did not apply for the committee, for ordinance, did not. He applied for supervisor, not ordinance committee. You handpicked him to be in that role. Now he's getting paid to be on that role, okay? What I'm not liking is people who were voted in, all the time you were appointed, are not provided the same information that the people on these committees that you handpicked are getting. They're not getting the same information to make the decisions they need to do their position here. I've said this before to you. I've sent you emails. You say you don't, no, I can't do public comment. You say there's nobody, there is no correspondence. I sent you 2 letters that month on Wortman, giving Bob Ulander the finger. 2 letters, not 1, 2 emails on that. And up here you say the next meeting, no correspondence. Yes, there was correspondence. I gave you 2. Just because you choose not to accept them, that's not fair. And now these people, one of my emails before I even applied for my letter of intent for the operations committee, which I'm very qualified for, probably overqualified for. I asked, are these volunteer committees? Are they, what are your expectations? What is the knowledge base you're looking for? And I did a nice little list of things that I wanted answered. You didn't even answer me. Didn't even answer me. I sent you how many emails? I think you've answered 1. And that was on Wortman giving Bob the finger. And I don't think it's right. I don't think we should be paying $8,000 more to these committee members. And giving them more. Why are you giving them more information than like Ulander is getting? They're getting all the information and it comes down, trickles down. And how many times have you not gotten information you've asked for, Bob? How many open records have you had to roughly open up?
I don't believe that as a supervisor, I should have to resort to open records.
Neither do I. I think it's ridiculous. I voted for you. I want your decisions when you're sitting on the board representing us, not people you picked, handpicked, because they're your buddies.
You speak up, I didn't hear you.
I said, I have no comment, but yes, I appointed those.
No
people.
comment. Yeah, they appointed them, no comment.
Why no comment?
Because he can do what he wants. He can do what he wants.
Just one other question, the same way that the town
State your address and.
town residents need to pay for your transgressions. Now, are we gonna be on the hook for the transgressions of the people of the committee who kind of really don't know what they're doing, that were not elected by the people, and then they're not knowing what they're doing as far as open meetings laws, they're gonna commit transgressions, do the town of Water people have to pay for that as well?
Sure will.
All right, there's no more comments. We're
No,
gonna
I have
move
a
on.
comment.
Yes.
Name and address, please.
Paul White, 28805 Stone Ridge Court. My question is that there seems to be some issues here. Are we able, as this group here, to just say, hey, listen, we're not paying that levy, and therefore you're gonna have to go back to the budget? Is there a mechanism for us to say, let's put a halt on the project, or let's take another look at it?
Yes.
And maybe, and what's that?
You vote no on this motion. If you vote no, then another motion will be made with a different levy. And that whatever levy it passes is what the town will have to spend next year.
So this group here is able to,
Yes, sir.
you bring it up, able to vote?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Nick Nicolai, 28728 Cardinal Court. So if you can, I'm unfamiliar with this committee members that are being put up that are appointed. What is the high overview of what roles they fill? What do they do for the town? And what decisions, authority, how do they operate?
So Nick, there's a documented charter for each one of the committees that is published on the town website that outlines the committee's purpose and its accountabilities. All that is detailed out in a committee charter for each one of them.
Okay, so what do the committees do then? Can you just a high level, pick a committee as an example and describe to me,
Sure.
because I
So-
can't read it right now.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So I'm the board liaison to the operations committee. The operations committee has oversight over the clerk and treasurer's office and the DPW, the building assessor, or the tax assessor and the building inspector departments of the town to look at how they're operating, identify needs that they have, identify areas for cost savings and optimization, improving the operations of those particular areas of town, and making recommendations to the board for action that could be taken. There is a prioritized list of action items that the operations committee has worked on over the last several months. 4 of those items have been prioritized and brought forward to the board. 2 of those items were voted on by the board to move forward. So that in a nutshell is a summary of what the operations committee does.
So the committee members, they go in, you mentioned like, I didn't catch everything, but like the clerk's office and that, do they go in and interact with them? Or do they have any authority in that position to guide them of what to do?
Absolutely, yes.
So unelected people that you picked are gonna direct the clerk people of how to operate?
No, they're not directing them.
Well, you just said that.
No,
You said
I'm
they have
sorry.
authority.
If I said that, I'm sorry.
You said they have authority to direct what's going on in the
That's
office.
not true. That's not true. They don't have authority to direct what's going on. They have the opportunity to engage with the individuals in those departments to understand how they're operating, what their issues are, what their problems are, what their frustrations are, and to look for solutions to addressing those kinds of things and forming recommendations to be brought forward to the board to take action on those items. But there's no authority to direct
Okay.
these individuals.
So you're the liaison to the committee.
Correct.
Do you go in and interact with the clerk people as
All
well?
the time, yes.
So why do we need a committee for you to do the job? This is what we elected. Right now, I'm frustrated because unelected people are doing your job.
I will respectfully challenge back and say, this is not a full-time position.
I understand that.
But the amount of hours and time I do put forward into this position is pretty darn close to that. And the number of items that have been identified for action are not something that one person by themselves can do. The opportunity to have a team to work with, to move things forward and to distribute the work that needs to be done is a good idea.
I think you're delegating to people because you don't want to do the work. If it's too much work for you, then resign.
I will
You can do
respectfully.
that.
I will
I'm just, that's my
respectfully
opinion. You
disagree.
took this job to do these activities. And if it's too much, maybe chair can assign you to a different role that isn't as time consuming. I think
You
everyone,
done?
not yet.
I'm in.
Excuse me for, being rude to cut me off. This is for comment. This is the only time that you're allowing comment. So I think you should sit and listen to as long as anyone else here wants to make comments.
Agreed.
So you're elected to do the job. We didn't elect you to appoint common people and now pay them. Are they employees of the town?
No, they're not.
Well, then why are they getting paid?
It has been budgeted. I mean,
That's
whether
like-
they
that's
deny it,
not-
it's
they're
still
not
gonna be discussed by the
employees.
board.
How many other people,
They all got background.
how many other people working for the town or getting paid by the town are not employees?
The whole planning commission, you would say.
Do they all,
They get-
planning commission,
Planning commission gets paid.
but they, how do they get assigned? Do you appoint
They're
them?
appointed by the chair
Okay,
with the board.
but they're doing a
Most
job,
communities, like villages have separate committees to involve the public input. To have people involved in what goes on in the government.
okay,
So planning commission is a statutory construct, these other committees are not, and I would be interested in knowing what other municipalities pay their voluntary committees.
well, they're not voluntary. If they're paid, they're not volunteers.
That was the point, that many of these committees in surrounding municipalities are volunteers, they
Right.
are paid.
Well, I just wanna make it clear on the record, so anyone who may listen to this understands they're not volunteers. They're paid, and I object to that, because it's excess money being spent, and I think it's your responsibility. If the budget is too much, you find ways to save money any way you can. And yes, that does mean, I don't know if there's stuff in DPW that could be reduced instead of contracting things out. Or if there's, the big one that we went through is the police department. Nothing against our police officers, I think they're great, but if you can save $500,000, the question I have is, do we have a budget deficit? If we go that way? No. I think that solves the problem right there, and yet we would get 24/7 coverage all the time on that, so, thank you.
State your name and address, please.
John Belkey, 8631 Albertson Road.
Thank you.
This is what bothers me about this town. Picking fights. We're here to talk about the tax levy. The gentleman from Tishigan is here. He can come up here, would you come up here and answer some questions of these people? Good people, right there you go. This has nothing to do with the committees at all. Nothing, nothing. I'm a committee member. I think you people up there know that Tim and I, and some of you others, we don't talk all the time. We don't agree all the time, but we're working through all this stuff. Committees are important. So far down the road, so much work has been kicked down the road, down the road, down the road. We're trying to play catch up here. Now, we're a town. We move forward, not come here and squabble about stuff because we don't like it, because we're not in power. If people don't like it, vote their people in there. Let's move this town forward. Let the Tishigan gentleman come up here, answer the questions. And committees are important. They are getting information from the people, bringing to you guys. If you guys want to vote yes, okay. If you want to vote no, okay. A lot of fake information is being spread out there. The town isn't moving forward. This is nonsense.
Chief, prior to you arriving, there was Supervisor Andrea had a question for why it went up 106%. I believe I forwarded that to you, to the president and yourself, his email a couple of weeks ago. Would you be able to answer Supervisor Andrea right now?
If you could step up to the mic, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
First of all, I want to excuse myself for the last couple of weeks. I had a lot of personal issues going on. I've been on FLMA from work. I had surgery less than a week ago and kind of recovering. So bear with me. I have some difficulties hearing right now. So just if I ask some more detailed questions, please help me out. The question that I received, how you justify 106% increase over 2 years? Quite honestly, it's simple. paid staff. That's the easiest thing I say. And my budget request, which I said, I spelled out staffing. 3 positions, hours of coverage, levels, the whole 9 yards. If we're in a position right now and we're talking about budgets, staffing has been our biggest challenge amongst everybody since the municipality was formed. We just had arguments here, or discussions, I should say, about volunteerism. I would encourage volunteerism. I've been asking for it for 33 years, the amount of time I've been down there. Ask one hand, you know what happens another hand. We're at a point right now that to be competitive in the market with staffing and having qualified individuals, everybody can contest to that, you have to start paying them. Currently, we're proposed at paying $15, $16, and $17.50 an hour. Them wages sound like where? Aldi's, gas station. These people have degrees, they're nurses. They're dealing with their lives every day. I'm asking to pay them for 12 hours so we can have coverage to provide service for you guys. That's where probably 85% of the budget's gonna get chewed up. But if we want service, and everybody's, why do we have a police department? Simple answer. Human service, humans, right? We want control. We want to have say about our features. If the sheriff's department's in place, or are you gonna have say? That's another layer that you may not have say. I'm not gonna say one way or another, but I'm saying, if you want to have control, you're gonna have to pay for a service. If you're going to go out and ask for people to provide a service to you, you're gonna pay them. You expect a service. When you expect a service, now you can expect a certain level of service. So that's the hard part. We all want a high level of service. We all don't want that. Medicare, Medicaid, I can go and have all kinds of stories to tell you how much I write off every year, Medicare, Medicaid. I can't do anything about it. I start charging for car accidents and fire alarms and everything else. I was crucified up here for charging a resident because he negligently started the fire. I'm doing that to offset the budget, to relieve the tax strain on everybody. My God, that doesn't make sense, right? It's simple, 106. It's staffing. I spelled out the comparisons in our budget request. I told you how I was gonna spend it, how I was gonna staff it. Told you about new equipment, new radio systems. I just ordered, Tim, you got a copy of the order, almost $400,000 of radios.
Can I ask you a simple question?
Sure.
Why won't you show the budget then? And why won't you show your books?
Well, that's interesting, because for 32 years, of me going down there and spending all my time and my money to educate myself. What did the town do for me? Now they want
Now
me.
you're asking for more money, I mean.
No, me.
But that's in the past. We want to move forward.
What, I'm sorry, who said that?
Somebody else earlier tonight.
Again.
My name is Nicole Lander, and I'm referring to somebody else who just said that's mired in the past. We want to move forward.
Simple question.
So regarding Tom,
It's simple. We're a private corporation. We're not municipal. What does that mean? You don't pay for my workman's comp insurance. So when my workman's comp goes up about 100%, you don't pay for it. Who pays for it? You're not responsible for it. Guess what? When the town gets sued, if something happens, who's gonna take the brunt of it?
you report to a committee though?
No. BFI.
So I just like to,
BFI.
like to point out a little bit of irony here, that at the same time, you're extolling the virtues of having a local police department because we have control over that. You're also talking about you being a private corporation and how we.
Part of our budget process for this year. I put in a budget request for $416,000.
And how we lack that control and how we don't do anything for you personally, and so therefore we can't see the company books to know how our tax dollars are getting spent.
State statute doesn't allow you to say.
It doesn't require.
Correct.
There's a difference between requiring.
Now, if you treated us with some respect throughout the years, we would probably do that. But in years past, and this year continued, I asked for 416, it looks like I'm gonna give about 375 this year, so now I gotta go back and figure out where I'm gonna cut that and where I'm gonna make that up.
And so that's a part of this question asking process, because I saw your budget request and I understand, you know, where you intend to spend that budget. But it'd be nice to have questions answered.
I would have loved to answer it before the open forum, but no one reached out to me before tonight.
And yeah, that's unfortunate. We were asked to direct our questions through email. So the staffing issues, the three positions, are those positions that were formerly volunteer that you're unable to fill, so now you have to pay them?
We're correct, we have to pay, we cannot compete anymore at the wages we're paying. Currently, we're paid $10 an hour.
And so it's not that you are growing the fire company, it's just that you are having to pay to get what used to be done voluntarily.
Correct.
Thank you.
Correct. And price increases from PPE, personal protective equipment, fuel. We can go back 2 years and say 106%, I'm gonna go back 33. I started off at about 65,000 budget, and we struggled for probably 20 years at the 100,000 mark, just until recent in the last couple of years, when we started seeing increases, because we've had to start paying staff. So I do thank you very much for giving us the budget and opportunity to do it. I would love to continue to do it. I go to work every day for this. I go on calls because I like to go on calls. I'm gonna tell you, stuff around the station, just like the stuff at home, you deal with that because you have to sometimes. I go on calls, help people because I like to. That's what I'm about. That's what the company's about. I gotta put bodies in the seat. That's a problem. Some of the bodies don't have the same focus as I do. They need to get paid. They need to get paid so they can better themselves go to school. I wish I had the magic answer. I really do. I got a whole fiscal application. Somebody, please.
I have one question. Why do you need nurses in the fire department? Because you had said nurses. Why do you need a nurse?
We don't, but with their license as a nurse, they can practice as an EMT under their nursing license. So hence, they pay for their own schooling. Right now, I have 4 nurses that are practicing under their nursing license, and they're actually practicing at the same level of paramedic. Right now, it's about $11,000 a year for just a first-year paramedic. That's no experience. That's just to get them through schooling. That's not even to give them the first IED in their own.
Nurses to work. I don't understand what you said.
I have nurses on staff, I have paramedics on staff. I have to pay people to be there.
Sure.
I pay them at the paramedic level, the AEMT level, the basic level, and the firefighter level. I don't know a nurse that's gonna work with 50 miles an hour.
Well, I don't either.
She's a nurse.
Because I'm a nurse.
Right.
And I would-
My stepdaughter is, and she's done it every day. She's done her 60 hours a week. So again, these people are doing this because we like to do it. I wish I didn't have to charge it. I wish I didn't have to charge somebody to go out and put their car fire. But historically, why should you have to pay because somebody else is paying it? So I tried to spread the wealth of whoever uses the service, pays for the service. I'm just asking for a budget so I could provide a basic level of service. And I'm not gonna bullshit anybody here. I hate to be so frank, but that's 3 people. A house fire takes 15 minimum. There was a fire last night, they went to the second alarm down Fellowship. We were down there, with people down there until 4 o'clock in the morning. So I guess what I'm saying is, the people are committed, they're willing to do the job, I just gotta have the resources to pay them to be there. So give them some incentive to be there, give them some additional schooling, some additional training, like the nurses, so they know how to package patients and so on, so. I wish it could. Or them.
Got a question, something you can help me understand, you're a private entity.
Correct.
So you're not-
1952, the Michigan Fire Company formed from a group of people up in the Michigan area. We bought our own stuff. We basically came to the town and says, hey, would you guys support us with a budget? So every year they give us an annual budget. We save that money, we purchase our own equipment. Since then, equipment's got more expensive, we come the deals with the town, blah,
And
blah,
then
blah.
the town has purchased the equipment for you to support you?
Not all.
Or they, okay, but they might put money toward it. I guess what I find interesting is or what I don't understand is you're a private entity which is contracting with the town. But what I'm hearing is you put in a budget request, which makes it sound you're like the police department or the DPW. It seems like, what seems like you should contract with the board every year.
Give them the section, the contract. Here's what we're gonna do for service, here's what we're gonna do.
And so there should be negotiated in terms of what you wanna do and what troubles and problems you have.
Absolutely.
You need to go to the board, and the board needs to act on my behalf because that's who I vote for.
Absolutely.
And right now, it sounds like you're more reporting to the board as if you're another department of the town, which you're not. So can someone explain that to me, or how does that operate? Because that doesn't make sense to me.
I think ideally, and forgive the comparison, but we have contract operations elsewhere, garbage recycling. They come to the board and they, that also goes out for proposals, RFPs for bidding. But this is what we give you for this price, and then there's the selection process that happens. I understand that you probably don't want to go to bidding. I'm not suggesting that.
I don't know who would bid,
I don't either.
because I certainly wouldn't bid anybody else's.
But it is certainly more of a contractor relationship than it is a governmental department relationship.
Sure, it's disrespect. I'm disrespecting the town. You guys give us $375,000 a year. I should come up here once a month and tell you where I spent it. I should tell you the calls I go on. You should have an opportunity to talk to me, shake my hand, tell me, hey, you're doing a great job, or hey, you're an asshole, I don't agree with you. Here's what my suggestion is, and I'm here to listen. But no one's beating down my door.
Who's the liaison on the board for the fire department? Is there one?
Right now, it's been 10.
Okay. So can you submit a monthly report of all your expenses and everything to Tim as a report? Because there's a police report, I understand. That goes in every month. Could that, and then you could be there and you could come, or you could even submit the report.
They submitted a report for tonight's meeting. They submitted a call report.
With-
I don't give him a budget report because he's the payment bills.
Well, indirectly, because you give them $370,000,
It costs a lot more, $375,000 a year to run fire department.
Okay, but
I
I guess,
probably
understand
need
this,
about 6 million. So
Ron,
by the time I do my revenue and stuff, there's a ratio in there, percentage, where I have to report, and that's what
Okay.
Supervisor Ulander is referring to. If I make over 50%, 51%, I don't have to report my wages, my income, and everything to the town, because I receive more tax, or I receive less tax money than they do revenue, I don't say.
I just, because you said you would like to be here and report back and everything, so I'm suggesting something, and now you're saying you don't want to do that.
You're argumentative tonight.
No.
I don't know what the
understand.
problem is, I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna come and get in the middle of it. I would like to give somebody a report of what we do every month.
Okay,
I'm not gonna ask permission if I need to buy a stamp. And that's what it comes down to when you start asking the municipality.
okay, I misunderstood.
I don't mind telling them, hey, we purchased whatever this was. But you know what? If they're not paying the bills and they're not paying over 50% of them, why should your ex-wife know your stuff?
So we don't have a relationship anymore with you? I mean, that's what an ex-wife, and if you're divorced.
Sir,
No,
bad analogy.
Okay, I understand, and I don't want to
I'm
go
so
there.
sorry that you had a bad day
No,
at work. I'm not gonna argue.
I misunderstood then. I thought you said you would love to come back and tell us on a regular basis where the money is spent. That's all I'm
Because truly,
asking.
if you understood it,
So that's all I was asking,
If truly-
is saying is
if
that you could
you
report
understood,
it
if
every
people
month.
understood where the money was going, 100%. But I didn't have to have the same respect when I asked for 416,000, don't come back and say that here's 375 to go figure it out, because I gotta decide if I'm putting tires on this fire truck or this one. Because that's not a parent's choice with me.
I
So
understand.
again, at some point, if you're going to ask me where I spend the money and want to know where you spend the money, you're going to pay the bills and I'm not gonna be responsible for it, because I'm gonna tell you how to run.
Okay, I'm
It
just,
needs to be municipal fire department at that point. That's exactly
it's
what you're
fine.
talking about.
I'm sorry that you find me, I'm hearing things that don't add up, and I'm just asking questions to clarify it so I can understand.
The town contracts fire protection and fire protection only from Michigan.
And
For the entire township, that includes structure fires, grass fires, car accidents, hazardous materials, whatever we get called out for. That is our response area, that's our responsibility, there's certain responsibilities I have as fire chief to have, provide them services to the town.
appreciate it. So when does the current contract that's in agreement with the town?
The last contract that we had was 2020, that was in effect, and right now, every contract that I ever dealt with, basically.
So we have no
over a year.
contract with you, right?
Correct.
So
So you're a year.
It should, I don't want it for a year, I never want a year.
No, but that's what it is.
Typically, it rolls over 1 year at a time until you get the new one, just like a labor contract with any other United Auto Workers or whatever else, you know. Some guys just don't stop working, it's not getting paid for 5 years, to sit in some contract.
thank
They
you.
go out for pretty pussy contracts.
Thank you for,
I do have a question. You talked that less than 51% comes from, there's no requirement for you to report.
Correct.
So can we assume that the $416,000 you asked for is less than 50% of your operating budget?
Correct.
Then the next question is, where does the rest of your operating budget come
My revenue for my fire calls, for my rescue runs, and any other donations that we did this year. So anything that I had to produce revenue throughout the year, all I have to do is make up more than 355,000.
So we take your word that.
You know, hire us. It's amazing, you know, the little guys in suits.
So you're a
They're
nonprofit then?
really good at that shit.
You're a nonprofit then?
We file taxes everywhere, just like everybody else.
So that is publicly available?
Yep.
Again, don't get offended or anything, but I don't know. Let's see how the revenue come from. You say that you.
So when I go to rescue call, I have 3 levels of building, essentially. The ELS runs about $1,000. So if I come out to your house, pick you up, take you to the hospital, I get $1,000 just for the ambulance, just to get the ambulance there. Then I collect per dollar per mile, loaded mile after that.
Okay, now, I never used the service, so
No.
I don't know. I never got it.
It's a fair question.
So, you know, if I, you know, fall down, if I had you guys come out, you send me a bill, and then I pay the, whatever the bill is.
Your insurance company, insurance, that's correct.
Okay, and then same thing with a house fire or a car accident or something like that.
We cannot bill, statutorily, we cannot bill for any structure fire, i.e. house. But I can bill for nuisance fires, when the guy lights his pile up and burns his yard, his neighbor's yard up, I can bill him for the services that took put it out. His negligence, car fires, car accidents. So I get a person that's driving from Milwaukee, town residents should have to pay for them, right? They crash it in the town, we should have to pay for the fire engine and the personnel and equipment and oil dry and everything else it takes to service that accident. He should at least have to pay something towards it, right?
Okay,
So I sent him with that.
Okay.
And then when I transport him, I send him another.
Now I know.
You get to Bill Kenosha for that, involvement last night?
No. That's structure fire, and that's what we call Vegas. So we're under a mutual aid black alarm system. So what that is a mutual aid agreement amongst all municipalities throughout the state of Wisconsin. So if you need a resource, your neighbor will help you provide it, and they will not charge you.
One more question.
Absolutely.
So if you get less than the 50% revenue, you don't have to give that, you're not required.
I'm not required to give them, I have to file my taxes and stuff like
Right, I
that.
understand. How do we know that that $416,000 represents less than 50%?
Because every year I have to file my taxes. If I don't make that requirement, I have to change my tax status.
But that's great, the IRS knows, but how about for the board and everybody else?
It's open record, it's open to the public, anybody can find out.
So you can go to the IRS and ask them for that.
Mike Dubus found out.
What?
Mike Dubus told the town attorney.
Yeah.
You do it.
Yeah.
Because back when we started the ambulance service, we received 100% from the town tax base. We started the ambulance service, We put a lot of work into it, a lot of effort into it ourselves. We transport in the middle of the night, so we invested back in our corporation. So we took that money and said, hey, here's our assets. Here we go. So now we're above 51%.
Yeah, I got a question for the board. How do you guys know that is the case? Do you see the taxes, or does he routinely give them to you, or do you routinely ask for them? And I'm not saying that you wouldn't do that.
No, it's fine.
It's just a check to say, hey, trust but verify type of thing. Anybody in the board may answer that question?
I've seen these budgets in the past before, not recently, but I'm sure if I asked them, I could get it, stuff like that. It's public record, you go online.
You
can
say
tell.
you've seen it and stuff like this, but it seems to me that he's requesting something, and we just want to know that, yeah, you guys have looked at it. So it shouldn't be routinely, it should be part of the process that maybe when he submits his budget, here's his tax form from last year, so you guys can truly verify that he's on the up and up. I mean,
He details his line item for budget. What's a detailed budget look unique to us?
has anybody else on the board besides Tim seen it or knows it exists?
Quite honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, doesn't really matter if people respect each other back and forth. I don't mind us and Kipling books.
No, I'm not saying.
No, right, but you know what I'm saying, this is where we got to get into trusting each other and stop thinking about everybody's trying to screw each other over. I'm here to provide a service, Tim, I'm asking him for some money so I can provide that service. Tim, he's been pretty good to us. I'm gonna sit down and say, hey, here's what we spent this year, here's what my fuel costs are. I'm not gonna print it off for him and sit, in the corner with a bunch of guys and start talking about our finances and everything else. It's not that. But I will respect him enough to tell him where it goes. You know what I'm saying? At some point, I don't want it in the bars downtown or wherever else, hey, they have so much money.
I'm not asking you.
No, I'm right, but
I'm asking the board that this is information that maybe they should have access to. And it seems to me that the only one that's able to answer on that is Tim. I mean, you don't necessarily have to spread it out there, but it would be nice if somebody came by and asked that question. Yes, we know, we've seen his tax form. He submits it routinely with his contract every year, and it meets qualifications. And it gets back to, since we elected you, that this is and I've heard people talking about responsibility and other things, is that this would be a responsibility to us as the voters and the citizens living here that should be done, whether it's you directly or it's one of your committees or something, but somebody should be saying, yeah. And I'm just wondering what your response is to this.
I agree. We should see that information.
Okay, and then what would be, that's great, you should see it, but what's the process to make sure that happens in the future? Since we're talking about moving forward, we've gone from just small community to community with growing pains and other issues and people here. And I'm just wondering how you're going to move to the future on something like this. He said we should, but nobody has. I get 5 people staring at me, and I don't know if it's the deer in the headlights or exactly what it is, but this is the type of thing I think as citizens and taxpayers that you should be routinely doing.
So I agree again, and I'm gonna take this in a little bit different direction, okay? Because I think you guys are all absolutely justified.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely justified in asking all of the questions that you're asking, and you should. You should crawl through this budget at the very lowest level of detail and ask the kinds of questions that you're asking. Completely appropriate. The question that nobody's asking and nobody's wondering about is what's happening on the revenue side of the ledger? What's happening to drive revenue for this town? And I will tell you, my observation is nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing. I've lived here for 10 years. and I have asked for that entire 10 years. Where is the vision? Where's the plan? Where's the strategy for driving appropriate, wholesome, effective growth in this town to drive the revenue side of the equation when costs continue to go up constantly on everything? And again, you guys, crawl through the budget at the very lowest level of details and net out every single dime and dollar that you can. But somebody's got to start asking the questions on the revenue side, because this is like having a job and a career and never getting a raise. And yet groceries go up, utilities go up, all your costs in your household and your family go up, but you never get a raise and you're not doing anything to get a raise. That is a significant part of the problem. It's in addition to all the things that you guys are asking, completely appropriate. But until we start addressing the revenue side of the equation and putting a plan in place for wholesome, effective, appropriate growth within this community, growing pains, we aren't experiencing growing pains because nothing's growing.
Okay, this Nick McElwain. I just, and that sounds great. So is it tonight that you're gonna kick off and start an initiative to start drawing up plans and that we can bring to the town of Waterford to grow the revenue and make sure that the growth in the town is in a direction that the citizens wanna go? I mean, you don't necessarily wanna put up Sam's Clubs and all these other.
I'm not advocating for bulldozers running rampant
I
across the
understand,
town at
but
all.
I like your suggestion. So, and if it's been here, I would encourage you to start drawing up proposals and bring it to the town.
Absolutely.
I would appreciate that.
Yes,
Thank
sure.
you.
I just, one question, you bring up very valid points, and I hear all this stuff, but I don't hear anybody saying this is how we're going to do it. You say, yeah, it's good, it's good, it's good, and I've only seen 2 or 3 people up there talking, yet we voted for all 5 of you. I'm wondering, you know, not just, yeah, great, 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 it's the devil's in the details. What is the plan the board is going to do to bring up what you said, which I think is very good, because you talked about where the revenue comes from. The revenue comes from us taxpayers. So, well, all you do is you raise the rate, or a combination of the rate stays the same, but our house assessment goes up. So really the income or the amount of revenue goes up. And I'm wondering, does this board have a vision, or are they just going to kind of, okay, we got through this year, we'll do it next year type of thing? And that's a question I'm putting to you 5 people.
I'd just like to address a common misperception, that when home values go up, that the town gets more revenue. The pie stays the same. The state has said, this is how much money you can collect in taxes. Where the assessments come in is how that pie is carved up. If your value goes up and your neighbor's goes down, you have to pay for a bigger slice of that pie, but the overall pie stays the same size, if that makes sense.
But we're not gonna squeeze more revenue out of what we
What I'm
currently
saying,
have.
I know, I understand, I don't think that, but I kind of disagree with that analogy there, because the pie doesn't stay the same, the pie keeps getting bigger.
The only way the pie gets bigger is if somebody makes a bigger pie. Somebody has to build in the town in order for us to increase that revenue, whether it's a new home or a new business, which would generate more revenue than a single home would.
But you make it sound like it's a pie, it's not, that pie is just the tax basis which you go on. You make the pie bigger as one person's goes up, the other person's goes down, or you change the tax rate in which you have. So you have to have a mechanism, because we've got taxes going up every year. Now, not all of this from this board, but they go up, so that the revenue is increasing. Whether you say it's a pie is just the construct made to say, this is how we're going to make your taxes. And our say nobody's assessment goes up and everybody stays the same, you're going to have to increase the rate in order to cover the budget, if your budget is going up every year.
And the state has limited the limit that we can levy at, and we are at that limit.
Right, but then you're going to raise the, I don't know,
Fees,
the rate at which you tax.
we
What-
can't.
Maybe you can answer them, what is the mill rate they talked about?
So the mill rate is the per $1,000 value of your home, that you pay in taxes. And that's essentially what the levy is being voted on. The mill rate comes from that levy divided by the value of the properties.
So you can raise the mill rate.
We are at the limit that the state allows. Maybe the treasurer could explain it
It will
better.
actually go down. Our mill rate will go down from last year.
Okay.
Because we're only allowed a certain percentage, we're only allowed to increase by a percentage of our net new construction. If we don't have any construction, we don't get any more money, regardless if your assessment goes up or not. We are held to levy limits.
So then you put a fee on our bill. For the, I don't have my bill in front of me, but I know I used to live in the city of Milwaukee. We used to pay, if you had 30 feet of front property, you paid a fee for plowing. You had a separate garbage and recycling rate. So all you're doing is the property tax point, you're taking it out of there and moving it to a fee base, which I don't know if most people know, the fee is not right, I believe it's not able to be written off on your taxes. So you're actually moving what is a tax deduction out of a tax deduction.
That's called a special assessment, and the town can't do that because we already provide that service. If we did provide that service and wanted to do a special assessment, we could. You can't create a special assessment for a service you already provide.
So there are two fees on your tax bill that come from the town, one for garbage and recycling, and one for fire.
Right.
All right,
As to your other point, part of the issue is it can't just be the town that says, hey, we want to develop this growth plan. We also have to have willing participants that want to move into the town and develop their businesses, develop their properties and that sort of thing. And so it's going to take some effort and planning to encourage that sort of growth.
You have to have some entity, maybe it's a committee, who's working to attract the appropriate kind of development to the people that want to develop here within the constructs of a plan that the community has approved and agrees with. That's what's needed, and it doesn't happen overnight, but I agree with you. We gotta start. And we haven't started. And every day that we haven't started, the problem gets bigger and bigger and bigger because the costs keep going up and up and up, and we can all relate to that. The cost side of the ledger is not going to change. We got to change the revenue side.
Costs can change.
And we can always get better at refining our costs, absolutely, and we should.
But I get back to the point that you are the elected people. As elected people, you should be the leaders to take the initiative on this, and I hear only you talking about it a little bit, Robert, but nobody else. They just kind of want to maintain the.
that's not the case. There's a lot that we're taking care of. There's not, everything's up there.
What, can you give some specific examples, Tim?
Not right now, no. I want to move forward with what we're gonna do with the levy. Go ahead, Jim.
There are two other issues, for the past year and a half or 2 years. There was a committee from the town and the village working on a joint boundary agreement, which was voted down last year. This would have freed us up from the village's 1.5 mile extraterritorial zoning and land use authority. We can't divide a piece of property within 1.5 miles of the village's limits right now, less than 20 acres. So that's really hurting development within that area. Also, our town land use plan needs to be updated. We're at the 2035 level. We should be at the 2050 level. The county was supposed to provide funding for that. I'll have to ask, when we hear from the county. But those those are two things that could help drive some more growth in the future. And I hope that the town board revisits the land use plan or the boundary agreement plan with the village in the near future, because that could really help stimulate growth within a mile and a half of the village. And for them to give up that extraterritorial zoning is really a major concession on their part. So those are my thoughts.
Is that the only thing that is available? I mean, I know obviously the meeting was shot down. Is there any other directions?
We're open to ideas. If you have any ideas to present,
No, you seem to miss.
I understand what you're trying to say. The board should make all these.
No, I'm not saying that. The board should take the lead on it.
We
You
have
have
those.
those, and then I ask you, can you tell me anything? And you say, no, you can't. That doesn't seem,
I'll just mention something to you, and again,
that's one. But you can't just rely on just one thing and say, oh, well, we tried, we failed. You need to have a multi-pronged approach, go after this, if that's, truly what you want to do. And I don't know, I'm only speaking for me, but I hear what you're saying, and he's right about the revenue, because you have towns, cities, villages, whatever you want to classify it as, they'll actively pursue that. But I don't hear anything other than and I didn't even know until tonight, because I was here when the actual vote was shot down on Waterford voting and stuff like that it was a big plus. It was never, I wasn't involved all the way, but it was never mentioned that would free us up to do some of the things that I'm trying to see your name. I don't have my glasses. Tom, I know I met you.
Yeah.
But, that Tom has been talking about, and I just don't hear anything. That's, I said, no, that's good.
all right, what do we want to do here? To adopt the 2005 tax levy, we paid. We have to get the tax bills out, we have to decide. The budget is balanced. We'll be voting on that as a board shortly here. Levy, what do you want to do with the levy? Tony, do you have any comments, anything that we need to present?
No?
You know, we refer, actually, you made the motion, so.
Yeah, Tom, seconded by Gail to approve the levy.
So we have a motion second, we had discussion, let's call for a vote. All in favor of the levy? Aye.
I thought we got a vote on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do, he was just,
Oh, that they're just putting it
Discussion.
forward,
Yeah.
yeah.
there's a process, yeah.
The process.
Do you wanna, well, there's,
Oh, yeah,
do
okay.
a show of hands to approve the levy, otherwise we do have like ballots here too.
Okay, so it's gonna be whoever is actual town resident that can vote in our town. If I can see a show of hands to approve
The levy.
the
as
levy
presented.
as presented. Okay, so that live in our town, okay, yeah, 1, 2, 3.
You just don't have to say any
Yeah,
options
yeah,
at all.
Okay, if you can put your hands back up, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right? To approve? Correct?
Does everybody understand what's going on?
Yes.
Okay, so then those against the motion, please raise your hand. Twelve.
I would refer to you.
It's 11 to 12.
Did everybody vote that lives in the town?
Not everybody has to.
One.
They don't-
Not everybody has to.
No, there's some people. that say so.
So that
So
means
it's 12 to 11.
12 to 11.
Well, then
those
the
don't
electors
vote.
need to decide what,
The electors, yeah.
this isn't the board's meeting, this is the electors, so
Right.
the
The
electors need to decide then what you
What do
want
you
to
wanna
do.
do?
You guys propose changes.
Yeah.
Now, It's not
Why
changes
do-
in terms of what you wanna spend it on, it's the levy only.
Okay, and what is the levy now?
It's on the,
2,367,474.
Which is on that piece of paper that was.
No, that's
No, no,
different, no, because that was done before they had their last.
yeah,
budget
this is
session.
the same.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
I'm
the
sorry,
same.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
it is.
sorry.
Yeah.
It's also on the budget.
Yeah. Everybody, there was a copy of it in the back. I can get more. So this is the number right here.
You guys are voting on that number only.
1.58.
The board's gonna decide how it gets spent.
This is the number that they're talking about. Here, this. Oh, yeah. Okay.
They're fine, that's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. I'm sure.
Oh, how long?
So the motion is on the table for you guys you denied the levy, so now you have to come up with a number.
Yeah.
And present
Of the
it.
number only.
No. You want to bring it back?
As much time as they want.
Okay.
Go.
Okay.
Well, it's.
Have your conversations, you guys have time to discuss it. Gotta look at your.
So.
No, that's last year, that's all.
Yeah, I know.
So they, people didn't vote for that one, so now we have to only that number. Okay. Well, whatever the board, whatever the election.
But then they have to. They come up.
They come up with-
It's like 21.
Yeah.
They want
Low number.
I have a question that the special charges, is that the fees that you can charge outside of the?
Outside of our levy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is.
Like, the police, fire,
That's just
the.
for fire.
No,
And
special charges is like, liquor licensing,
Oh.
alcohol licensing, dog licensing. So what you guys want to look at is strictly
the top first number.
So,
Let's see.
can I just get it?
Oh,
Yeah. Go ahead.
1 second.
We got the.
Don't change
They should, I have copies, they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We use this,
But they can only.
we use this to discuss with each other, I mean, you guys are all,
Give them the whole budget. I'm sorry?
we use this just to discuss amongst us, you said we have to pick a number.
You gotta do it now, yeah.
I understand
Yeah,
that.
no, I'm just
You
gonna-
need more
I'm
budget.
just gonna add, I'm just gonna add one thing here, guys. You guys are gonna be
Oh,
voting
they're
on
allowed to look at it.
one
Oh, right.
tangible thing that you're gonna see in
They're not
your
allowed.
community. If you look at the big tax picture, circle, what you're voting on, and
I
what
know, I
you're,
had to do.
the impact you're gonna see is what you're going to actually have in your community. You're not gonna change the Racine County's rate, you're not gonna change anybody else's rate.
Understand.
So if you change the rate here in the town, you may not have services that you had before because you changed the mill rate, because now we can't afford to pay that. So I'm just gonna caution you, if you take and adjust that mill rate,
It's,
and it reflects poorly too far one way, you're going to affect things that affect you, not affect some.
No, I understand what
So
you're
it's
saying.
only, you know, receiving county taxes,
Yeah.
taxes, whatever. You're only voting on probably about 6% of what you're
But
trying
it,
to see.
it now.
So I'm just gonna caution you.
But it now puts it back on them to say, hey, we got a lower rate, where can we cut, or where can we?
Right, but you may have to pay a price that you may not be aware that you have to pay. You may not get that bill until it's too late. When the service is already gone, you know what I'm saying? If you can't afford something.
But your fees are out of that. Out of this number.
The tax levy that I asked for, my budget out is not.
Is in that number?
The fee at the bottom,
We're looking at the very top number here.
that affects everybody. Yeah,
I
that affects everybody.
understand that. Is your fee
Yes.
in that number,
Yes, it
that
is.
300 and whatever
Yes, it
they said
is.
they give you?
Yes, it is.
But what he's trying to say is that if it goes back to the board has to redo something with the budget. They have to
Right,
redo it,
yeah.
okay? They might not give him what he's getting, what they're saying that he's gonna get now. So therefore, I'm just using this as an example.
Right.
Therefore, he may now have to say, well, now you're gonna get charged something else in addition to.
Right, so like I said, I'm just
Make
gonna
that money
caution
up.
you, because these are tangible things that you see in your own community, not what you see in your Racine County or whatever else.
So before you had the example of $1,000 for the ambulance to come out. So now you're saying it might be $1,200 or those charges might be increased.
If
the
board ends up changing
What they,
that line.
right, I understand.
Right, but you gotta also understand, I can't change my rates that quickly to overcome budget shortfalls like this. It's gonna take months for me to redo a billing structure, get it approved, and be competitive through everybody else in the industry. Because I can't charge, let's say, 7,000 to take you to the hospital, and Waterford charging you 1,000, that's not appropriate either. So like I said, I'm just gonna caution you, if you change a mill rate too much, you're going to lose services that you see in your own community.
Well, we're only going to lose what the board decides to have to reallocate it. So if they come back and don't change anything you have, we gotta find it somewhere else.
Absolutely, I'm not advocating for anybody, I'm not advocating for, I'm just, as a general public, be careful, because you don't have a lot of wiggle room.
I've got $16,000 from what I
We
remember.
only.
You can't go lower than the previous level.
Right.
Am I right?
Outside.
Our levy only wants $16,000 or 14,000.
I don't know if that's a salary. I think that it can go.
So just to start, we're running on here, so just to start the discussion, we'll just say, let's drop it down to $2 million. And then we'll,
It's 10%.
what, a percent? Wow, okay.
Need a percent?
The levy is the
It's a dollar.
It's a dollar amount, you're right.
It's a dollar amount.
So does somebody have a calculator handy?
No, it's
You're fine.
Yeah.
It's a dollar
Amount? Okay, so we'll just start the discussion at $2 million. And we can go from there.
So you're looking at it drop.
I think what should
So
happen.
it's not a negotiation.
No, it's not,
Should've been
you said we have to pick and agree on.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I misunderstood. So we had to pick a number. I picked $2 million.
Okay.
Now it's either a vote up or down, right?
No, it's even.
And if, my point is, if everyone wants to vote down, then we pick a new number, right? Is that how this process works?
Can't explain it. We've never had to do this from last year, past 32-0, and we didn't have a budget.
Right.
No, we don't, but it is gonna hurt, whatever you guys decide to
You
do.
throw out 2 million, you do a vote, and it's 11-2, then yes, you guys will go back and.
Then we have to come up with a new number. And that's what I
We
meant
need
by,
to have where everybody agrees.
right,
or the
and
majority.
that's what I meant by negotiate. There's a, it's negotiating amongst
So
us.
that you're
Okay.
voting $2 million?
Yeah, we'll just start it at $2 million.
Who's gonna second it? Who's seconding the?
Anyone seconding the motion of 2 million?
I'll second it.
My apologies, may I have your name again?
Paul White.
Thank you very much.
All right, the motion second. All for a vote?
Okay, so all in favor of 2 million, please
And
raise, oh,
Just a question, do you wanna have any discussion?
I think there should
No,
be
this-
discussion, because you're gonna, again, I think you should do. I wanna make sure everybody understands what's going on here. Cause you're gonna lower $300 some thousand, it's gonna make a lot of different changes, different areas. The board can be forced to make other decisions.
So the changes come from you?
Yeah, well, you were just saying earlier, the board makes a decision, we're gonna approve the budget at some point, and you can do the levy. But we may have to short-term borrow, we may have to look at other things to do to cover the budget that was completed. Okay, so if you wanna lower levy, that's fine, but it's gonna have consequences, whatever it is. Right now, if you see on the form right here, it went up $14,000 year over the year. And so now you wanna drop it $367,000. I think that, well, my opinion, that's a very bad move. So if you guys wanna do that, that's fine, but there's gonna be consequences. There could be staff layoffs, there could be, whatever this board's gonna do, we're gonna have to balance the budget. If we approve the budget as in our next line item, then we're gonna have to look at short-term borrowing. That's gonna eventually go back on the tax rolls too, because we have to have a balance, we gotta pay for the services the public wants.
No, you say the public wants, it's what you say you get, the public wants. And I'm asking you as the leaders of this group, saying, okay, where can we now have this $2 million budget, and you had listed at $2.367 million budget. Where did you take the money from?
We're not gonna decide that tonight.
I understand that,
Yeah.
so I'm just curious as to why you've got to get the tax bills out, why you waited until the last minute. There's another.
We haven't.
We haven't waited last year.
This is.
We've had 4 budget hearings here, more than we've done in the past. Last year, if you look at the minutes, we had to pass the levy and back into it, because the budget, we didn't have the budget balanced last year. And we figured it out, and right now, the levy is going up $14,000 some dollars right now. And you guys wanna reduce it big time, however you wanna do it, you're gonna hurt everybody in the town, just let you know.
I keep hearing that the town wants this, the town wants that, the people have spoken. The people are sitting in front of you speaking.
Yeah. This is the first time I've been on the board that we've had this, because a certain group of people wanna,
There's a department that's got $1 million budget that can be cut.
well, I'm sorry. Wait, Chief, I hate to put you on the spot. Do you have any information what's going on in Sturman with the sheriff change over there?
They didn't have the ability to take over right away, so they're doing it all on overtime. And it is not saving them money.
How much is that overtime?
And next year, they just passed their budget. And the enormous cost savings that they were going to have actually increased their budget from this year to next year.
So they didn't have enough staff to cover what was previously there.
They're forcing overtime to cover.
I have an issue with, and it's not just you, it's everybody, they pick the most. I'm trying to think of the best word, incendiary thing, we're gonna cut fire and police. There is no other place in this budget that you think, we heard people talk here. We're paying this money for these people, $8,000 there. We paid for the $8,000 for, yeah, you're shaking your head.
No, I don't, $8,000 is not $367,000. That hasn't, it's in the budget right now, but the board has not decided if it's gonna do it or yet not. So it is in the budget, but we haven't decided if we're gonna do it or not. We haven't even talked about it, if it's worth doing it. It was put in the budget, we had 4 different budget meetings to do this. Nobody recommended removing it at the time, it was.
That is a lie.
Okay, well.
I flat out, I rejected the pay raise for the board and I rejected that pay. That is a lie, Tim.
Just like you did a 5% increase for all the staff, which we reduced the 4, and we also put in place to start paying for health insurance, because we can't keep covering our health insurance for all employees. So,
Thank you.
this is all starting, okay, I'm done. What do you want to do, a motion, second, any more discussion on this subject?
So if we don't vote,
Hold on, you step up first, please.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, and if you want to continue talking, step up to the podium. I want to make sure everybody online sees what's going on.
How can they see what's going on in line?
Well,
The meeting's recorded.
You mean?
Meeting's recorded, yes.
Okay.
And there are people chimed in watching.
John Belkey, 8631 Halverson Road. If I get this straight, the people here voted 12 to 11. Now they want to go from $300,000 less, right?
$367,470.
Okay. I talk to a good man all the time on the phone. He says, John, when does something ever go down in price? Nothing goes down in price. Nothing. People want a town where the police are there when they want it. People want to live in a town when the ambulance is there when they want it. They want the fire. They want everything, but they won't put their hands in their pockets and pay for it. Now, didn't we have a different board out there before and we were over budget in the past couple of years ago? Wasn't that true that we were over budget? No. But a lot of this stuff, we could have took care of a long time ago, but was kicked down the road. Now we got a board that's trying to do something, but we got the negative Nellies here constantly complaining about. The police is over with. It's over with. Get over it, people. They're here to stay. People who wanted the police got voted out of office overwhelmingly. It was a landslide. But yet they keep complaining. No, you won. I know you did. Another person. Terry, right there. Terry. You happy? Terry. Now cut this nonsense out. Let's move this town forward. The police are here. Keep them. Work with the village to combine and lower the whip price. That's what they're doing right now. But some people just keep wanting to pick stuff up. This is a joke. This town's a joke.
Thank you. Her and everything. Let her go. She's passed. And you keep bringing her up. Let
What's
her.
she doing?
No.
All right, enough discussion on that. Okay,
I just would like to ask a
step
question.
back up to the podium. We're not gonna just sit down.
Okay, I understand.
We've spent an hour and a half on this, we still have a meeting up here, so please, get your point, thank you.
I'm sorry if we taking too much time.
No, that's fine.
I got a question, we said that they put the seconded up as 2 million, still haven't voted on it.
No.
The question is I'd like to ask each board member, can you find that $300,000 that we're talking about difference? Or if not, is there something each board member should, I'd like an answer from them, that we could take out so we can pick a number that, yeah, I can get rid of this, this and this, and we can save 50,000, we can save 100,000 or whatever, because you are the ones that saw the budget itself. And is there anything, if the answer is no, that's fine, I understand, that's the way it goes. But is there, each board member, I'd like to have them answer, is there a number you could take out of this budget where we can say, yes, this is, okay, that makes sense?
Right now, we spent 4 meetings on.
I asked, I would
I
like.
know, I'm gonna start though.
Okay,
I'm gonna
I'm
start.
sorry.
I'm the chair, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna say no. I mean, if Bob's upset about the $8,000 to give us stipend for some people that are volunteering their time, they don't even know about it. That's something I suggested doing research about how other towns and cities do their committees. I thought it was a fair thing that they're taking time out of their schedule to come to a couple meetings. I only said 1 meeting per month, sometimes they're meeting 2 or 3 meetings a month. $40 stipend or whatever we decided, maybe it was 50, hasn't even been decided yet, it was placed in the budget. So, I
But
can
if
see,
it's placed in the budget,
it's a placeholder, yes, because the budget hasn't been approved yet.
but if it's in the budget, you're gonna spend it, that's how governments work.
No, it
You
does
aren't
not
go-
work.
You
I
aren't,
don't think it works that way, because we do have carryover when the budget's not spent.
okay,
That's
but you
what
say
builds up
no.
our reserve. Yes, I'm saying no, we're bare bones as is.
Okay,
Yeah, I would say no, originally we're gonna hire 3 more full-time police officers, we cut that down to 2, so that's $140,000 right there that we already took out. From the-
now that $140,000 would come out of that $2 million or
No,
2.6.
no, already.
It's already taken out.
Okay, okay, all right, so he asked for 3, he got 2.
Correct.
No, there's nothing no low hanging fruit that could generate that kind of money. We're looking at hiring a third DPW guy now. Want to save $100,000 and have 2 people plowing snow with the kind of winter we're having now? What if one of those is sick? You think one person can plow this town? No, it's not gonna happen. We've decided to work with the village to combine the joint town village police department, which I think is what the people wanted. The village, some of the village trustees offered a year and a half ago. there's no way you can cut this budget without hurting something. You're gonna cut the fire department and the EMTs, you wanna cut the DPW and never get out of your driveway. You wanna cut the police and not have anybody answering when you need somebody. There's
That's
just,
not
there's
true.
no
That's
simple
Hold
answer.
on, let him
So
finish.
my answer is no.
Okay.
My answer is no.
I don't think that there's anything that can be cut tonight without having an impact on short-term services. With the appropriate amount of planning and opportunity, I think everything should be looked at as far as contracting services that could be done at a more reasonable rate or combining services with our neighboring municipalities. We contract for fire department. Why? Because that's what's available to us. They give us their rate, we get their service for it. Why are we so adamant that we're not gonna look for other opportunities to contract out other services that are provided? Whether it's work that the DPW does that we could take off their plate to improve services for a reduced cost, or the police department that we can maintain a level of service for a reduced cost. Obviously, he says that the Sturtevant issue that the sheriff's department was not ready to take over immediately. That's why it takes planning and implementation rather than just a knee-jerk reaction. But is there room in this budget to cut? Absolutely, if it's done the right way.
And I'll just build on what Bob just said. That operations committee list of all those prioritized items that I talked about earlier, a number of these things are already on that list. Places to cut, places to trim, places to save money.
I will add that there is about $8,000 that could be cut today without any impact, but other than that, big numbers, but not so much.
All right, did we answer your question?
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right, we have made a motion, second.
Anybody have anything else to say?
All right, I'm gonna call for a vote, and I think that I want cancel balance, because if I don't wanna put people on the spot, well, maybe I should put everybody on the spot. Yeah, let's do a hand vote. Call hand vote. Tina, you're the clerk, so you make note of it, because
All right, those in favor of $2 million, levy, first and second for the $2 million.
The 2 million.
So it's all,
Please repeat exactly what we're being asked to
the
vote.
motion is to approve the levy of $2 million.
So in other words, a reduction from the original proposal that was submitted.
Correct.
Of how much, Tina? What's the amount?
$2,367,474.
And that would cost how much? How much would it take out of your budget?
$367,000.
$67,000.
So approximately 7%. So I did my math.
Are we taking a vote right now? Yeah, that's the motion is for $2 million, put with a levy.
All in
favor? 2 million?
I'd rather say where we were, they can go back and relook at the budget.
They won't look at it once it's approved.
I disagree with you. Never.
We have to vote. They have to be.
Well, we get the vote too.
Yeah.
Everybody gets to go.
All
We get
town
the vote on it.
residents.
So those you want that?
Are you taking online votes?
No.
So.
All right, those in favor of 2 million for the levy?
Okay, we're calling for a vote. All in favor of the $2 million levy?
Opposed?
All opposed?
All opposed?
So it's 9 to 16 nay.
Okay.
So now next up.
Next up, I will make a motion. that we approve the levy, and we can remove that $8,000 that Bob wants removed. Savings. I'll make that motion.
So it would be, what's the number you're looking at? Is that?
Well, it would be
$8,000.
$8,000 less.
You're supposed to give us a number, you know.
Well, yeah, okay.
Heather's figuring it out. Everybody relax. She's figuring it out.
59,474. Right?
It's 8,000. Oh,
8,000 exactly.
Yeah, so it'll be 2,359,474. That is Tim's motion.
Looking for a second.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, discussion. I'm gonna call for a vote right away. Looking to make a vote? All in favor?
All in favor of the 2.358474? Sorry, or excuse me, yeah, two.
Okay.
One
One
more
more
time,
time?
all in favor, raise your hand higher. Make
Aye.
your hand up. if you're-
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why, I didn't see your hand.
That's what I know.
Opposed?
Opposed?
So what did it happen?
Even?
Okay.
No, it's not even.
Okay.
Who's opposed again? Please raise your hand high. I need to see it. Come on. Well, this is. Right, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. Yep. Thank you. You may lower your hands.
All right. Motion passed. All right, to approve, no, I just.
Oh, I'm sorry, the salaries,
To approve the officer salaries for April 2025-20 pursuant to 60.32 Wisconsin statutes. There is no change in the officer salaries. They're staying the same. So I'll make a motion to approve as they were for the past years.
I'll second that motion.
All right,
The town officers is more than just the town board. The town board supervisors, the officers are the appointed office positions.
They are?
The clerk, the treasurer.
so they get a vote? No.
all right, we're gonna, motion a second, let's call for vote.
What was the motion?
Approve number 2 on that.
Yeah, to approve officer salaries.
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
Made a motion, second, yes.
Sorry, excuse me, point out, I don't know if you can clarify, can the chair make motions or it's somebody else?
Sure.
Can the
Okay,
chair
yeah,
make
he's an
motions?
elector.
Okay.
Oh, you really should.
I was there.
The salaries.
Approve the salary, so, and a motion second, if I get everybody or just the board?
Everybody.
Okay, call for vote, everybody in favor? Everybody's gonna vote on this one too. This is the clerks,
This is for the salaries of the appointed, correct?
And what is the motion exactly?
to approve the salaries for the clerks, the town board, everybody.
Minus the committees that you're.
Judges.
Yeah, the committee, yeah.
Judge.
Judge, everything, in the
Am I
office.
going for you guys?
Yeah.
One.
Like you guys.
That's really.
All opposed?
Okay, motion,
26-0.
make a motion to adjourn that meeting.
Second,
I didn't make the motion.
No, we need a motion.
oh,
Yeah.
I motion to adjourn the budget meeting.
I'll second that motion.
Motion second, all in favor from the board here?
Aye.
Aye.
Everybody.
Oh, everybody?
Aye.
Motion to the meeting, raise your hand again.
Everybody wants to,
Motion to adjourn? Raise your hand.
everybody in the room, that's good.
Okay,
All right,
7:08 PM.
now we're gonna do a notice of special meeting for the, to approve the budget. For the town board to discuss and adopt the 2026 budget of town of Waterford. Looking for a motion to approve the budget. Immediately.
I move to approve the budget as amended.
Got a motion, looking for a second.
Second.
Motion second. Call for a vote.
Just to clarify for the record, what has been amended on the budget?
$8,000.
$8,000 reduction.
Got a motion second. Call for a vote. The board, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Take a motion to adjourn that meeting, somebody?
I'll move to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Second, I'll call for vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's go on to the next one. All right, let's call the regular town board meeting tonight, December 8th, 5:30 after the budget meeting. Time is, you get the time?
7:10.
7:10, we're calling this
Thank you.
meeting. All right, please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, approval of the town board minutes dated November 10th, special minutes dated November 19th, budget workshop, and November 25th, when we had interviews as printed.
I'll move to approve those minutes as printed.
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion second, any discussion? Call for vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yep.
Thank you.
Approval of the claims as presented by treasurer's report. Emily, want to give the treasurer's report, please, in summary?
General and tax checking, $398,232.78. Our sub-account for general operating is a negative $137,982.40. The reserve funds have been transferred. The loan payoff is $764,262.58. And then for future revaluation is $250,000.
Thank you. Let's, now let's. The bills. Looking for motion to approve the report.
I'll move to pay the claims as presented in the treasurer's report.
Got a motion, looking for a second.
I'll second.
A motion, second, discussion?
I have several points of discussion on the Boyer Park Road resurfacing project. It's unfortunate that Ken isn't here tonight. I don't, would you have any answers?
Maybe, they're basic, maybe.
They're probably not.
If it goes towards the contract, it has to be paid.
I will then put these out there so that people are aware of my questions, and perhaps at some point we can get some answers. According to the change order 5, which was on page 15 of the packet that Heather sent out, I believe, at least on the PDF version that I was looking at earlier. There is a grid that shows the total approved for payment. It's page 1 of the report, titled Memorandum to the Town of Waterford. There's a total approved for payment amount of almost 2.2 million. And below that, it says that the contract cost is 2.03 million, which would kind of indicate that we have paid more than the cost of the contract to include all the changes to this point. And I'm curious what the difference is on that. Additionally, on page 16, which is, it says base bid section, Buena Park Road, dated 11/26/25. There's a line item in there for nearly $30,000 for a sidewalk. And my question is, was that not bid as part of the project? Because my understanding of the project, that in order to get the grant, that sidewalk was required. And so if that was required as part of the project, if that was part of the bid, why are we paying 30 grand for it? If it was not part of the bid, why was it not part of the bid? Next question comes from page 17. There's $30,000 for epoxy marking line. Again, with striping not included in the original project, when we pave roads, we need center lines. It should be included in the project. If it was, why are we paying for it? If it wasn't, why wasn't it in there? Then change order 3 has some detail that I very much appreciate getting, because it allows us to see what is going on with these projects. It seems like some of them could have been avoided, with some additional planning. If you look at 3.01, for example, I'm not an engineer, but it would seem to make sense to me, to not put a sidewalk on top of a retaining wall. And so the contractor asked to move that to the tune of almost $1,000. 0.02 and 0.04 are about drainage. I'm sure those issues were known prior to the resurfacing project. 3.03 is a sidewalk grade change for $26,750. Did we not know that there was a dip in this in this area that we were going to put a sidewalk? I think these aren't all on Kenny. I'm not trying to pin the blame on DPW. Kapoor Associates is an esteemed engineering firm, and Payne & Dolan is an esteemed construction firm. Why are these things not being budgeted for or included in the bids ahead of time? 3.09, the first 3.09 is another one, an existing low spot in the road for $3,100. That's a total of $30,000 that could have been avoided potentially by better planning. Some of them are quite obviously contractor issues. 3.05, 3.06, and the second 3.09, along with 3.11, are the result of the contractor not completing the project on time. These relate to declining temperatures and having to heat asphalt. This project was supposed to be completed late summer, early fall, long before the temperatures dropped. And so now that the contractor is asking the town taxpayers to pay for their failure to complete the project on time. A previous change that I saw the details on today, we were asked to pay the cost of turning their asphalt plant back on because one asphalt plant is closer and can generate more than another one. These are all a result of a project that didn't finish on time that now our taxpayers are asking to foot the bill. The original bid amount was for just under 1.9 million. It's now up over 2 million. And that liability continues to grow, it seems, daily. These are questions that I would like to have answers to before I agree to pay them.
A motion second.
Was there a question for me? I had to leave real quick. Was there a question specifically for me?
No, it's more for Kenny.
Okay, that's what I
Kenny
thought, but I
for-
wanted that first one. I
and all
just
that.
wanted- Okay, sorry.
Discussion, I'll agree with Supervisor Lander, we need to get more discussion on the engineer and Kenny before we approve the pay that big one.
I agree as well. I think they're good questions, Bob. I think they're the right questions to be asked. In hindsight, it's going to be difficult to rescue this from where it's at. I'm going to just be very, very straightforward. The things that should have been done with respect to managing this project should have been done well over a year ago, or even before then. They were not done, and that's where the problem started. And what we're reaping now is the problems that should have been addressed from a management perspective a long time ago. But they're great questions, the right questions to ask, and I would not support paying this until we get answers to those questions.
Okay, so will you withdraw your second motion?
I withdraw, yes.
Dale, will you withdraw your first motion?
I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay. Before we make another motion, any discussion on any of those things from anybody?
I think if anybody had questions, they should have contacted the engineer prior to this meeting, because to sit here and question, the engineer's not here.
My apologies for just getting the information on Friday when it was shared with the entire board, Dale.
That's what's gotta stop.
Had all day to call today.
All right, so we need to make a motion to pay the other bills minus this draw number 5, why it's researched.
I'm not sure what people want to approve.
Well,
I'm gonna make a motion to approve all the other claims as presented with the exception of this claim regarding the Buena Park Road project.
looking for a second?
So that includes payment number 5 and change order number 3 here.
Correct.
Drawing both of those from approval.
I'm withdrawing, yes, that's not part of my motion.
Just want to clarify, thank you.
Okay, I want to make sure I understood. Payment number 5 and change.
Change order number 3,
Thank you.
that covers it all, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Got a motion, looking for a second?
Second.
Second? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, no correspondence. Department reports. Greg Hart, County Supervisor.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just happy you're wanting to use it.
No problem. Just need a little levity, maybe.
Working the mic.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, a very short report. Fortunately, and I'll try to make it non-controversial. Number one, the county did pass its budget for 2026. It was passed on a vote of 19-1. I will tell you that there was enormous discussion. I'm not going to repeat it all. I talked about it last month in the meeting, so there's no sense in having to go over it again. Number two, I did forward on to the chairman and to Rayanne and Tina information regarding the Racine County Economic Development newsletter. And I'd like to just say for a moment that all of the discussions regarding the budget tonight, keep it in perspective. I'm talking directly to the board right now. Supervisor Marchowski, I couldn't agree with you more about the topic regarding revenue streams. The problem we're dealing with now is we're trying to control our expenses, which could put us potentially into bankruptcy because we don't have the revenue stream that's going to offset the natural cost of increases. The problem is we have a community, no disrespect to anybody still here, who has continued to say, well, we don't want this. Well, we're not real fond of having more businesses coming in. Oh, we don't, I remember the water. Oh, no, we don't want more people on the water because it's, it's going to disrupt our area. The NIMBY effect is alive and well, and I encourage the board to take this on as an action. I heard, I'm not sure if it was this gentleman or one of the others that specifically said, what's the plan? How and what are we going to do about it? And I couldn't agree with it more, both from a county perspective, but also putting my residence hat on. And so I just encourage that does get the attention, and that's why I continue to send Racine County Economic Development information, so you're getting a chance to see what else is happening throughout the county. Next item. I have decided to go ahead and run for another term on the county board. And so I will be seeking out signatures. The election will be on April the 7th. I have to have those signatures completed by, I think it's January 1st. And I just wanted to let the board know that is my intent, so that if the opportunity presents itself for questions or any other feedback, I will be collecting them. I plan on maybe sticking around tonight if there's some chances afterwards, but if I don't, I'll certainly be available to anybody at any time to be able to offer up my thoughts and my feelings. Next one. The Racine County is going to be changing its IT format. We're going to a .gov format as opposed to .com. So you'll be seeing that more coming up here in the near future. The last item, the Buena Park discussion. And this is not just Racine County. This is a resident talking. I don't understand what could have possibly happened on this project, which probably was the largest project the county or the town has had going on for the past couple of years. And I know that Kenny's not here tonight. Jim, you're in a very uncomfortable position having to hear all this, I'm sure. But that is something that I couldn't agree with you more, Robert. And Tom, your position tonight to postpone this absolutely makes sense, because this is something that is now being put back on the taxpayers, and that is unacceptable. And by the way, if we screwed up as leaders in our own area, then we better own up to it quickly and come up with a way to correct it. But regardless of whatever it is, I wanted to commend the two of you for your response and how you're addressing it, and the board for agreeing to that direction. Because this is something, guys, this thing was supposed to be done in, I thought, August or September. And here we are still not sure when it's going to get done, dealing with costs now that are overruns. And the last item, very simply put, I wanted to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a very safe and happy New Year, and hope that everybody's families are wonderful. Dale, you and I will probably have to talk about your comment regarding the county and funding, because we addressed that discussion 2 years ago. And I got back to, at that point 2 years ago as to where it stood. So if there's still something out there, with all due respect to this group, I'm more than happy to stand here and talk about it, but I'd recommend you and I get together so we can discuss exactly what it is you think hasn't been addressed, because I believe it had been addressed and want to make sure I can follow up on it.
Just a real quick response. 2 years ago, the money for the 2050 land use plan for all the municipalities in western Racine County was taken out of the budget for some agriculture purpose. I'm not sure if the money was in this year's budget or not for a 2050 land use plan countywide. So that's all we need to verify.
And if I remember correctly, that number was supposed to potentially be somewhere around 25 or 30,000.
I really don't recall, and I'm not sure exactly how many municipalities would be involved.
Yeah. That was on me.
I'd like to give you some feedback, please.
Oh.
So that's the only thing, if you could see if that's in the budget for this year or next year, that would be helpful.
I'd be happy to look into it. Thank you. Are there any other questions? And
I was asked to ask you, what percentage increase, decrease will the Racine County residents see with the new budget?
the new budget, it actually ended up, but I believe the final number was 2.57. It was originally expected to, unfortunately, the rumor mill got out saying it was gonna be a 7.5% increase to the taxes. Well, that was just bar talk. The original budget did say 5.4, but that was before it went through its process of being reviewed. And we ultimately got it down to 2.8, and then it ended up ultimately coming in finally at 2.57, I'll say 2.6, which basically was at or below the cost of living index. So thank you for asking. But again, there were so many rumors out there that just were wrong, but it was people making numbers up. I can't be any more blunt than that. Hope that answers it. Anything else?
No, thank you.
Thank you all for your time.
All right, moving on to police department.
Chief's report, November, we had 428 calls for service. When you take out crime preventions and rescue calls where we were not needed on, it gets down to 344 actual calls handled by officers. 19 traffic citations, 1 parking ticket, 6 non-traffic citations, 6 ordinance arrests, 1 felony arrest, 12 incident reports, 15 accident reports, 1 informational. Noteworthy things, we did our coffee with a cop, and that was very successful. Got to talk to a lot of good residents. New hires update, we worked with the board and got through all the committees, and we have 2 full-timers that are in the final stages of getting brought on, and 2 part-timers. Water patrol was wrapped up. All of our yearly paperwork that's needed by Coast Guard and everybody has been submitted. Parade went off this past Saturday without any major event, negative event, I should say. We're working on updating just a couple little things in-house, working on updating our reserve officer program, include some more training, and kind of making it more of an official thing. So there's going to be benchmarks and training involved. We also have a threat assessment training that's coming up at no cost to the police department. They're going to come in and do some threat assessment training for the police department. And they were willing to do a hour-long or 2-hour-long thing for the public. So I will get that out to everybody so they can attend. And barring any questions, that's all I've got.
Oh, yeah, I've got one thing. I talked to you about the status of the joint town village police contract, and we have one of our citizens, John Belkey, who had asked me about that. So if you could address that quickly, please.
That right now is still in like the planning stages. I had put together a sample contract that's gotten over to legal. And he's reviewing that, and then hopefully that will get over to all the members of the committees and the boards to pick through and try and figure out what they want added or moved from that.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, Michigan Fire Company. Michigan Fire Company.
That's okay.
I can,
Each,
all right, I can stop that. Come back again.
It's on.
Sorry. Maybe that. Going out.
I broke it, I'm sorry.
All right, it's real simple. We had 12 EMS calls for the month. That's house calls basically. 2 fire incidents, 2 personal injury accidents, and 4 MAVIS calls. MAVIS calls, I briefly referred back to that earlier. Number of mutual aid requests from other communities that we went and helped other communities because of larger incidents. Some of them were inside the county, some of them were outside the county. Since that we are on the border, we do venture up in Waukesha County a fair amount. Again, they venture down to us and share that resource with us also. It isn't restricted by counties at all, municipalities. So if we are in need of any resources, we had a significant, the past couple of years, a large area search, we had 250 individuals out on the fire ground. And we couldn't have done that without this system in place. That did not cost the taxpayers a dime. So that's the advantage of the mutual aid, where we provide service when we have it available, and then they do the same to us when we need it. So it works out very well. With that, we also have done pub ed events, public education, CPR and first aid classes. We're going to continue that for 26. The schedule will be updated and put out on our Facebook page. We were doing it once a month, 2 different times. We're going to limit it to 1 time period, like 1 month it may be during the day, the next month maybe at night. Just because we're not going to see the bigger numbers like we have in the past as far as students, and we have to pay our instructors. So that is a service that we do provide to the town, first aid and CPR classes. We have also done home inspections. What this is, we come into your home, we take our 4 gas meters or sensors or meters, detect gases and hazardous materials like that. We'll come through your home, look at extension cords and stuff, give you some pointers and so on and so forth. We'll check your carbon monoxide detectors and your smoke detectors. Last night, I want to say that we were in the neighborhood of about 33 contacts we've made this year, and we've been into people's houses and provided 33 different households with fire alarms and carbon monoxide alarms this year. That is directly either sponsored directly by us. We'll purchase them through outside vendors, or we'll obtain sponsorship, i.e. Red Cross, to provide some of the equipment that if we have a shortfall, for the Red Cross will want to buy a huge program. So that's what we're doing for the community. We met up with Waterford, a couple area people down at the Tank Club. I believe Tanya, you were down there. Little pub ed, decorate the Christmas tree. We do get along with Waterford, believe it or not. They're decent people. We do have discussions. During this past month, I sent all our heavy pieces, ambulances, and fire trucks out for PMs. So while I did this, I showed the respect that was deserved to the surrounding communities. I reached out and says, hey, we have a piece of equipment that's going to be down for a couple of days. If we need help, are you willing to help us? And everyone said yes. So there are relationships there. We are doing things the right way. We are trying to save money. We're not just frivolously spending. You know, everybody looks at your budget. I get it. It's tough because it's money coming out of my pocket too. It's different because I am a volunteer. That's what I do for a living. But I come out here to do it for free. I don't even live in town. I live in the village, so I do service work for the town for free. So I'm here. I enjoy doing it. I'll answer any questions where I can. Please reach out. Any questions for anybody else?
Anything more?
Thanks for being here, Chief. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you very much for a good year, and everybody be safe, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. All right, WMD.
Is it working? There you go. Good evening, Bill McCormick with the WWMD. I do have a report. If you're taking notes, you may want to take notes.
I didn't get it.
The term is draw down dredging. I know that the WWMD for many, many years has been looking at the dredging that's needed on our waterway. And we've been really trying hard to find an economical way to do that and the right approach to do that. We think we're onto something with what we're calling a drawdown dredging. So in 2026, we do have a dredge permit. I'm sorry, a drawdown permit with the DNR. We're going to look at contracting with the engineering firm to help us with permitting. So in 2026 in fall, we're hoping to do a drawdown on the waterway. That first year would allow riparians to go in and do their own dredging around their piers and lifts. So anything from the shoreline out to the end of the pier is, as far as dredging goes, is the responsibility of the riparian. And then in years 2 and 3, 27 and 28, again, we were looking to draw down the water in the fall and then fill it up in spring. And in those 2 years, we would have more of a large scale dredging project. Anybody have any questions on that?
On the board?
I recall back in '93, when there was a dredging, there was a drawdown, and there were a number of homes in Michigan that had point wells that were drying up. And so they had to stop the drawdown before they really, there's a massive riprap project all around the waterway, if anybody remembers. And they had to start filling up sooner than they wanted to because of that issue. So I don't know if anybody still has point wells, who those individuals were back at that time. But that's one thing that I recall from the last drawdown that we had.
Okay, thank you. That's good information. I'll pass that along to the engineering firm and discuss it with the DNR as well.
Do you know how many were impacted?
I don't recall how many homes there were, but it was enough that they ended the drawdown early in my recollection.
Any other questions?
Is it only people on the water that have point wells, or is it anybody around that area?
I think depending on where the water table is, anybody could have a point well, but I think these were in the Michigan Lake area, on the waterway.
Thank you.
Okay, Bill, thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
All right, Park and Road Department.
Thank you.
Jim. Good job.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and town board members. Park report, Sledding Hill is now open during regular park hours, and that would be from dawn to dusk. For the road report, on the Buena Park Road project, mailboxes are set to be put up this Wednesday, December 10th, weather permitting, but don't hold me to that. Signposts have been installed for the sidewalk, closed signs. We put them in, to get them in before the frost would get around. The signs should be here this week. We have a local resident who's making them for us, and he knows that time is of the essence to get them in. Yeah, over the past week, DPW has gone out, plowing 5 different snow events so far this year. Any other questions?
We can have an ice storm on Wednesday.
Hopefully, no.
No questions, Jim, just compliments on the tremendous job that the team has done in clearing the snow.
Yes.
Outstanding work from my perspective. And very much appreciated.
We have some retired farmers that help us part-time, and they are awesome. They're all older than me. Our group, we're very old, let's put it that way, but they'll come and they will work. They work straight through 13 hours on Saturday and came back, I think, for another 8 on Sunday. And then this past Sunday, they were out another 8 hours and they never stopped, because we know that you want that snow off the road so you can clear out your driveways. And that's always a challenge for us, but we appreciate it. Everyone's been great to us too. So thank you very much.
Any other questions for Jim? I do want to congratulate Jim. Jim will be our new DPW supervisor effective January 1st.
Thank you for having confidence in me.
Okay, no operations committee report. No ordinance committee tonight, no planning committee. We'll move on to the appointment of election officials. Brianna, I'm gonna let you read that list of a lot of people.
Okay, so our list for the 2026 through 2028 election poll workers. First one is Dawn Router, Nancy Dwayne, Joyce Gerard, Lynn Sprecher, Debbie Gracie, Janet Peterson, Pam Burke, Diane Behrens, Heather Frank, Sally Hensel, Lauren Cole, Monica Buchanan, Sheila Adams Leander, Catherine Burson, and Kim Weckerly. I just would like to thank all of my election poll worker volunteers for the next 2 years. Thank you.
All right, looking for a motion to appoint those people?
Move to appoint those people.
Looking for a second? Second. Motion second, no discussion, let's call for a vote, all in favor? Aye. They're all appointed.
Thank you.
All right, discussion of possible action regarding accrued vacation times for all non-represented employees. Tom, you wanna touch base on that subject, or would you like to?
If you have the details.
I have the details right now, yes. Okay. The last month's meeting brought to our. I am.
Oh, sorry.
Several employees have vacation that they haven't taken. One being as of, at the end of the year, 133.25 hours. They are requesting for potential payout of. We have done that in the past. Looking into other employees, some people have, in the DPW have like 50 hours, 55 hours. This one employee looking for the office here. So any recommendations how you want to move forward with this? This was requested last month.
Tim, can we clarify how many hours can be carried over?
You can carry up to 40 hours per our handbook.
Okay.
And so my recommendation was to pay it up to 3 weeks, which would be 120 hours to this employee, so she doesn't lose what she's accrued. Offer that to any of the non-other employees represented. And basically, if they want to carry them over or get a payout of 40 hours, but to keep it clean, it should be 40 hours a week at a time. So it's easy to track.
Okay, thank you. I agree with that.
All right, looking for a motion to proceed with that?
I'll move to proceed with the solution that you described.
Up to 3 weeks payout for any non-employee staff. There's only one employee that has this bench, but there are other people that have 40 and maybe 60 hours. That would like to take a look. You're looking for a second?
Second.
A second. Any discussion on it?
I would like to encourage all of our employees to take their time off. It is very important for mental health and family time.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Don't wait till after.
Got a motion, second call for vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, next one. Discussion of possible action regarding repealing and recreating ordinance 2025-05, 5/12/2020 relating to the use of ATV, UTV and tunnel water. Reason this is on here, we have signs put up, but it does not match the ordinance. So the ordinance has to be corrected, so the signs and the ordinance match. We've had several inquiries, and we need to change the ordinance to, I gotta find the ordinance here. But right now it states all roads 35 miles or less. Town signs say all town roads. We have multiple roads that are 40 miles, 45 miles per hour throughout the township. So my recommendation is we change the ordinance to reflect all town roads to match the signs.
I'll second that.
You can't. I'll make the motion that we fix the ordinance to say all town roads, okay. And, change the ordinance to reflect all town roads, so they match the signs. Chief, you can let the DNR know. And our officers know. So I make the motion, we correct the ordinance. Tony, you already have it. You'll have to adjust the ordinance to get it posted properly. So that's my motion, looking for a second.
Just to be clear, it's town roads, not 164.
We can't do anything of that, that's covered in the ordinance too. Those are state highways and we have nothing to do with those.
Right, that's what I'm clearing.
So are you making the second, or are you?
I'll make a second.
We have a motion and a second. For discussion now. Any discussion on what we're looking
So my one point of discussion, and I'm glad that there's members of the club that are here, because I think that I'd like the club to consider this as we consider amending this ordinance. I agree that given the layout of our town and the speed limit on a lot of key roads that are connecting points in terms of where people want to go, that it it makes sense to adjust the ordinance the way that you described it. I am concerned about speed and speed limits. And I would like to offer that I think the ordinance should be further amended with a speed limit, regardless of what the posted road speed limit is, of ATVs not exceeding 35 miles an hour on a town road. I think that for safety reasons, and if we were to put that in place, that we would over time have appropriate signage posted about the ATV speed limits within the town to augment the signage that we already have. I do think a prudent speed limit of 35 miles an hour on all town roads is appropriate, in addition to the change that's proposed.
Further discussion?
My suggestion would be to leave the ordinance as it is and give it a trial run. It hasn't even really taken effect. The 35 mile an hour speed limit was a compromise between yes and no. And I mean, it hasn't even really had an opportunity to take effect to see how it will operate as it is currently written.
Interject just
Yes,
a little bit.
yes.
The issue that we have is that the signs don't match the ordinance, so we'd have to either fix the signs or fix the ordinance.
You can't fix the signs.
We can't.
Right the first time.
Well, who approved?
The DOT's put the wording on the signs. I had originally put on there for roads 35 miles an hour or less. They kicked that off twice, said I cannot post speed limits. That's their roads, they post those speed limits. I cannot even mention the speed limit. So they took it out twice. And
That's fine.
this is the DNR ruling was just change your ordinance. It's a lot easier and cheaper than changing your sign. And we're not even matching what they have out everywhere else. Walworth County is 45 miles an hour. Is the speed limit that they're allowing their machines to go on a 55 mile an hour road.
But all I'm looking to do is to fix it, so the DNR knows you're aware. I agree with Supervisor Ulander and Supervisor Markowski. I think we should revisit some point down the road if we want to change the whole ordinance. What I think right now the board needs to do is we have the signs up. Let's change the ordinance. It's an easy fix. So it's clear. Those that have to do what they have to do. So we have a motion, we have a second. We have any discussion, or I'm gonna call for a vote.
I think, I agree with you that there are other changes when this thing is getting feedback. But there are other things I think that should be looked at in this ordinance too, and we have an ordinance committee, so why not turn this over to the ordinance committee for reworking?
I have no problem with that either. We have a motion second. I'm gonna call for vote. Call for a vote to change the ordinance, match the sign, and Tony, you can make that change and get it posted right away? Yep. Okay.
And then you're going to have this still given to the ordinance committee?
If it's requested, we can send that to them the first day.
Okay.
Call for vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No. It passes 3-2. You can update the ordinance. All right, chair report. Only item I got, was handed to me. The town of Waterford will be hosting an art contest for kids in grades 6 through 8 at both the Fox River Middle School and Washington Caldwell to design a new I voted sticker. The town board will vote on the design and present the winner at the January town board meeting. The winning design will have the design created into a sticker and given out the spring primary and spring election. And we just want to thank all the children participating in the contest. We look forward to seeing their designs. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
A motion, looking for a second.
I'll second.
A motion second, all in favor? Aye. Aye, meeting adjourned.
7:48. Thank you very much.
Oh.